Did you know, according to these mountains, there is no such thing as an atheist? My name is George, and I think even if somebody's not a follower of Christ, you'll see where I'm going in just a minute. It's important, first of all, to define the terms. What does atheist mean as opposed to an agnostic? An atheist says there is nobody or there's not anything out there. It means without any theos, without any God or divinity. Well, clearly, as we see everything right here, the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, and those gorgeous mountains, there is a God. So an agnostic will say, I don't have any knowledge of who or what is out there. Gnosis means without any knowledge. Again, that comes from Greek. Well, how do we come to know this God who's out there? Clearly, he exists. I'll tell you a story about a woman. Her name was Marcia. We're in another country doing some mission work, and we're eating our breakfast. Marcia had made our food, and she's standing 2 feet away. I'm taking a few bites, and she's just standing right there. I said, "Oh, thank you for this food." And she said, "Do you like it? I've been here since 4 this morning to make sure that you love this meal." And I said, it's okay. No way on planet Earth. We told her, I said, this meal is fit for a king. And she was giddy and she was sweet. And I said, Marcia, can I tell you something? There is a God, and he longs to have a closeness and a connection to you, the God of the universe. She said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Well, of course I'm sure." And she kept saying, "Do you really mean it?" And I said, "Why are you asking me that?" And she said, "Because I'm not educated. And I don't read and I don't write, and I'm kind of simple." She said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "All the more reason. This God who created everything desires you to be his daughter and for him to be your father." I went on to explain about how Jesus took a little child and he put him before others and said, unless you have childlike faith, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. It's just that simple childlike faith. In fact, the New Testament is going to make the argument that the world in its wisdom did not know God. It even goes on to say in the book of Romans that through his invisible attributes, his divine nature, everything around us, it is clearly evident, it's clearly known that he exists. But Paul, who wrote that book of Romans, says even though they knew God, they did not honor him as God. In other words, we can know all day long that there's somebody or something out there, but that's not enough. We have to come to know him in the person of Jesus Christ. Paul goes on to talk about how the wisdom of this world can actually be foolishness. People would say the cross, that's foolishness. And yet it is the weakness of that message. It is through the weakness of the cross that people think that is a stumbling block or that's an offense, that God conquers the whole creation through what some people would say apparent weakness. Through the cross, that's how God conquers. And it takes that simple faith to say, I want to know him and he has a plan for my life. Look, everything here is screaming out, there's a God. The psalmist said this, at the middle of your Bible, the heavens are telling of the glory of God, the expanse, the work of his mighty hand. In other words, he's out there, but then that same psalm is going to make a transition to say, here's how you know him, through his word. So what is my challenge to you? My challenge is to those who are believers, don't always be so defensive when you're sharing your faith. You have to your advantage the fact that everybody knows there is a God. They may not know who he is or what he is, okay, but they know he's there. So spend your time explaining, here's how you can know him. Jesus said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If they will open the door, he will come in and dine with them and they with him. For somebody who's not a believer, there's so much here that says he's alive, he exists, he is real. My challenge to you is to take that childlike faith like Marcia and say, yes, I want to seek him and search out for him. And by the way, he came to seek and to save people just like you. Jesus said, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear.